Hey, Becky.
Hey, George.
How's it going?
It's okay.
That's good.
How are you doing? Staying cool?
Yeah, I don't know about that. No, not so much. Drinking a lot of water today. Jeez, it was so humid out there.
Yeah,
Dehydrating. Not doing all right.
good. Ice water is tasting really, really good
Yeah.
these days.
That's right. Yeah, I took my mother shopping today. She went in, she had to get a couple items in the grocery store. She said, I couldn't resist. She got a big thing of ice cream.
Oh,
So I said I was going to take you out to lunch, but we got to go home now and put the ice cream in the refrigerator. How's the life?
well. She'll enjoy it later. I picked up some gelato from my mom yesterday.
Very nice. She's going to love it. That's
Yeah.
so good. I love that stuff. That's so refreshing.
Yeah, it really is. And it's a new discovery for her. So,
Oh, that's good.
hi, Melody. Hi, Melissa. Hi, April.
Hello. It's hot out here.
Yeah, at least you're outside.
Yeah, we're not air conditioned either.
Yeah.
I am fully air conditioned. Two of
I'm-
them are not full.
I'm not surprised. I know how much you love the heat.
I do.
We just became air conditioned, but we don't use it yet. And Marty doesn't really want to, so it's going to be interesting to see. We got a
Yeah,
heat pump. We got a heat
Yes.
pump, not air conditioning. So, but
yeah, I
now.
don't have central yet. That's coming, but
Yeah.
anyway, yeah, then I can have icicles. And snow.
It is amazing when you walk into a building that's air conditioned from this weather.
Oof.
It's like
Or,
walking into the
or
apartment.
it feels kind of, I got into my car at work in Springfield and my thermometer came on, it was 101. Yeah. And I texted my sister, I said, what is it? And she goes, 92. I'm like, oh, that's better. But you know, it was better than 101.
Exactly.
It was in a city too, so you know that was very much the pavement radiating back at us, I'm sure.
Sure, Peg is coming today. Is that what I had heard?
Oh, she's not, right?
I think she had,
Oh, she
She's-
couldn't make it. That's
Right.
true.
she's at an event with a family event, I believe.
And she drove to Ohio or something.
Oy.
Long drive, I've done that.
Well, good thing we didn't sit here for a half an hour waiting for
Yeah,
her.
especially because we have a hard stop.
Yes, at 7:30.
So did everybody get a chance to review the minutes from last week's meeting?
Yes. So you want to call the meeting to order? While you're at it?
Sure. I call the Personnel Board meeting to order at 6:32.
All right.
Okay.
There
The
we
only thing I wanted to mention about these minutes is I hope everybody was okay with the way I laid them out, the section about review job descriptions.
go. Mhm.
There's action items on here, Becky, in section 4, review job descriptions, the other business. So those are the things that we kind of we're gonna have to research. I think the research falls on you, Becky.
Okay,
And then we put on some future business items in section 5, and I'm gonna leave those on our minutes each meeting until we finish these as a whole placeholder to remind us that we should do these things. I know Melody sent out information about salary range reporting in the job descriptions.
Yep.
So that's one we should be able to get to fairly soon, but I'll leave them here, like I said, in the minutes until we're able to resolve them completely.
Perfect. Okay, so I move that we accept the minutes from July 28th.
Second,
I guess. All in favor? I guess it's
Arvanitis, aye.
Porter, aye.
April.
Oh, Stein eye.
Makepeace O'Neill, I.
There's not that many of us.
All right,
Definitely not a roll call.
there we are. Okay, I did spend some time reviewing the job descriptions for the fire chief. And I couldn't remember if we were going to sort of pool those or just work it as we were here.
I just think we didn't really decide either way. I went through and did some formatting changes, and based on the discussion of not having the fire chief as the EMD director, I pulled that out into a different sheet so we could have a job description draft for emergency management director.
Great minds think alike.
Yeah, I just pulled it right out.
Okay. I
did the same
object.
thing.
I object.
Why?
There's an issue with just pulling it out. It's a big issue.
Uh,
I mean, the hours for the job were built by incorporating the emergency management director. So even if Lenny starts off as the assistant with Kristen taking the lead, it's been built into his job. And the last 5 hours to make it 40 hours a week were part of that. So just removing it or making it independent, I don't think it's so simple.
and also, if we're assuming that Kristen would do it, then we are not compensating her at this point. That-
Well, but I think what's happening is she's taking the lead while teaching him, so it won't be like,
It's temporary.
right, it's temporary.
Okay, I can put it back in. I mean, I only just pulled it out and put it on a separate page, so I can pull it back.
That's why it's just,
Yeah,
trying
no,
to
that's
get
fine.
some
That's all I had done is just removed it. I didn't even touch it. I just removed it.
Cool.
I did the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So last week when we were doing this, Melissa, you had brought up the job description, put it on the screen,
You want me to do
and
it
we
again?
edited it together. Are we thinking we should do
Yeah.
that?
We can do that. I can bring it up again.
Before we do that, I sent out just a few minutes ago to you all, the job description where the changes that were made in 2018 are all highlighted in red.
Oh, that's helpful.
And I think it was really helpful when the fire study committee saw that. So
Okay, I'll
maybe
bring that
before
one.
we bring up the other one, maybe just to look at that so you can have a feel for how much was added in at that time. And see if any of what was added really needs to be there or does need to be there. But I think that's where the job description gained a couple pages.
I think the formatting also had it gain a couple pages, because I adjusted the formatting so it was all cohesive, and I lost it. They took 1 page away.
Cool.
Yeah, I noticed that the one you sent, it looked a lot more condensed.
It was just the formatting, just neatening it up and tightening it up, and
Mhm.
which I can do on whatever one we end up with.
Yeah, and I think part of that too, though, is there was a standard format for all the job descriptions.
Oh, it didn't change. It didn't change. It just tightened up the spacing and all of that. It didn't change the format. Like the
Okay.
headlines are still the same. It just made it
Cool.
more beautiful.
More beautiful.
Those
I
who have
like it.
font sensitivity and
What I found myself doing in my own was just really consolidating things. You know, everything was being spelled out so in such minute detail. It didn't seem like that was necessary. So let's go through this. Where is it?
So the only thing is, so which one should we go through? Because we had started editing one of them last week.
The one I had done, we had done a little bit, not very much though.
Okay,
We had also glanced at the time and saw that it
all right,
was,
so we should start with
14,
that.
or 9 o'clock, and we had just decided to stop.
do you want me to put it on screen?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe we could do a side by side.
I already have it on screen. If read up, which one did we want to look at? I have both here.
Well, maybe side by side, because as I'm looking through all the red pieces, I think that's
see
extremely
if I-
helpful.
Let me see if I can get it side by side.
I think that'll be a good trick.
I'm not sure. Give me 1 second to figure that out.
Yeah, I hadn't been able to put 2 documents up at once.
Oh, let me try it. It might let you. Give me 1 second. Your screen. Of course, I'm working on 2 screens, so
Wait a minute.
You guys, let me know what you guys see, because I won't know exactly. PowerPoint, point screen, video, audio, no. Files, no. Basic. Okay, let me try this one. Here's the, now you guys can see
The
my
red,
s-
the red
red.
version.
Okay.
And all the formatting is really funky.
Yeah.
Oh, that's how you like it. I forgot.
All right.
Save space. That's how I like it too.
All right, yeah, this is, and it's got the two, let's see. So this is this one. I don't think I can bring in the other one
Mm,
on the. So if I do this, hang on. Oops, that's the
I
wrong.
look what's in this.
So now you can see me doing all this stuff, right?
Yes.
Hang on,
And
hang on. I have a thought. I don't know if this is going to work.
Okay.
It's so crazy. It just might.
It might work. Can you see two windows now?
Yes,
There's sort of one on top of it. That's getting
It'll
better.
it'll be two in a second.
Whoa.
you did it. By making the first one big enough and putting the other one on top.
Yeah.
So you're basically tiling them.
That's really helpful.
All right. I'm gonna bring, unfortunately, I have to make one a little bit smaller so you can see it. And this one just a teeny bit smaller too. So I hope that's still visible enough to read for you guys.
Yeah.
I can make them bigger when we're on one or the other too, so don't worry about that.
And it's only through the first section, right? I mean, once we get onto halfway through page 2, we don't really need to look at what we did last week.
Yeah.
Is that true?
I think so. Hang on, let me scroll through mine. All my changes are in red. I didn't do a lot of changes, a lot of formatting. I moved a couple of things up, but most of it's formatting. Which got me to 4 pages, which meant me I took out the emergency director.
Yeah. So it looks like the original job description didn't have all the, per MGL, this, and this. And that's not needed. I'm assuming. And just pull out the responsibilities.
I think that's what we had, this is what we had worked on in that, and then we
Yeah.
decided to stop.
We were on the same
Because
page.
some of this was all listed below, like the
Yes.
hiring, the firing, the training, and just having this up here, there, that having that up there and referencing it. Go read it. I went and read it tonight or earlier today, so I could read it in conjunction with looking at the job description more detailed, what a strong chief actually was.
Okay.
So we'll
So,
put the emergency management back in.
and so we kept in the MGL description of what the strong chief is.
Yeah. So I added that one sentence at the front just to clarify,
Yep.
but
But it sounds like we could take out pursuant of MGL chapter 48.
I think you only need it in there once if you're going to reference it, right? So
Yeah.
take it out here. Which one do we want to work on? Point me in a direction.
Well, we probably want to,
This one or this one?
Sort of it's side by side is really helpful because I don't know if there's anything in the position summary that was originally written on the
Yeah, let's-
left that has changed or needs more clarification. But
my vote, Melissa, is to work on the one that you're on right now and just
This one?
make that our new one.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
that way we don't lose what the original looked like.
Yeah.
That's-
All right. So based on April's thing, I'll take this out so that we don't have to do the pursuant after we've already.
Yeah. Well, an absolute authority.
Right, oops.
Including firing. Yeah, I like having
So,
the lines of authority, appointed by the select board, reports to the select board in coordination with the office of the town administrator. I think that definitely should be there.
yeah, it's the high level stuff.
Yeah. And it works with town approved policies and practices. It's kind of a good, and then it has this also here, the section 43. I didn't go and read that to know, but I guess it explains it here.
It is referencing the specific law pertaining to the emergency medical management team. So,
So the change that you made here is you're saying he's a member of the emergency management, but
Yeah,
not.
it said, right, not the director. Right.
I think
You're saying, Becky-
director, I think director needs to stay in.
Okay.
so I think April can answer this question. Did the committee that was reviewing the chief's job, did they talk about this?
Yeah, we did talk about it, and at that time, we did talk about removing that as a whole piece. But I think the information has changed from what Becky's saying, is that we really couldn't do that at this point. But we certainly did look at just taking that piece out of the job description.
Well, what I'm thinking,
I'm not remembering it that way, April. But
How are you remembering? Because I remember we talked about it back and forth, but that there was some sense that it didn't have to be the police chief, fire chief.
Melissa, before you do that,
Okay.
that's not what Walter's response was.
Right.
so I guess I understand what Becky's saying, and I think it makes sense. This job, when he went to full-time, one of the ways that we justified making it full-time was incorporating this
Making that
responsibility into
piece.
the position. Is that correct?
Yes,
And we have advertised it as a full-time job, right?
yes. And I think it was only in the context of entertaining the position as part-time that there was any discussion of removing that piece.
That's right. That's right. That's
So,
right.
so what happens if rather than designated puts serves as emergency management?
Team director, director of the emergency
It's a
management
director.
team. Yeah, serves as, I mean, it's not an option. It is what it's going to be, one of his high-level responsibilities.
Yep.
Yep.
And what I was going to say is, if you look at the description that's on the left-hand side on the description that Becky's showing us, it's got the details. I think those details should be a section down low, just like E911 is, and not incorporate all that language in the summary.
Okay, so we take this part. Right, this part here. We
So I
stick it,
think
again, George?
so what I'm thinking is, on the right-hand screen, the fire chief will serve as the director of the emergency management team, is the only change we made
Period.
in the summary.
Yep.
And then all that language on the left-hand job description where it describes the EMD's job, that becomes a section, just like E911 was a section down below.
Well, there is a section for the director of EMD.
Oh, is there down below?
Yes. Yeah.
I should find on my screen a little farther.
Okay, so then we take this list, basically the list that's
Oh,
here.
yeah.
Yep.
So it's already done. So we don't need all that language as long as it's incorporated in the section below that's emergency
Mhm.
management.
Where's the emergency?
You pulled it out. Oh, do you have it in this copy?
I have it in copy. Watch it. It's now there.
Right, but there's a section that's called emergency management director.
Yeah, that's
But
part
it
of,
was, it's gone now.
Oh, yeah, that's,
Oh.
I took it out, but I can put it back in. So I only
Yeah.
took it out.
Well, I don't know. I'm just, all right.
No, you're right.
Sure
You're
it's the
right.
way to go.
I took it out. That was my,
Well, and maybe we don't need to be as, you know, because it lists, it's almost a full page of responsibilities.
yeah, here it is right here.
Yeah, there. it
Right.
is.
If what was just pasted in under responsibilities covers all this stuff, or mostly, maybe we can.
Well,
get rid of-
let's take a look. Oops, that's not the one I want. I wanted this here. Red. See, we can take a look at it individually for a quick sec. Let's see, it says coordinates preparation responses, large scale. Absence of other person filling a role, emergency manager, designate.
Yeah, does it need to have have everything described the way it is? You know, part of being the,
Here's a question. This is just a question. Can we put the smaller synopsis in the fire chief job description and then say, see separate emergency management director description where you could lay it out? Is that possible?
Well, we talked about that last week, not knowing
Or
that the
appendix,
fire
maybe an
chief,
appendix to it. Yeah.
right. I thought it was a good idea to make it separate, but if it is going to be the fire chief's job, then I think leaving it in the fire chief is the right place to keep it and
The whole,
not.
the whole thing, the whole thing.
Yeah,
Not
I mean,
referencing
how many,
another-
how many department heads do we have in the town where they have a job description? And then one of those descriptions is in a auxiliary or appendix description.
Sure.
I don't think.
I was just thinking of me, but that's all right. It was just to save space and then, but yes,
Well, I
right.
understand, and I want to save space. I'm just saying, if we do that, this would be the first time. And I don't think it would be an easy reference for somebody reading this. Then they'd have to go and find that document to understand this part of the job.
right.
Is the detail under the emergency management, those 13 points beyond the scope of a regular job description?
Let me
In
go back.
terms of level of detail.
Yeah,
Yes. I mean, that could be part of like the policy a manual for the fire chief.
Or the-
You know,
Or
For
the
EMD,
fire
you
department.
know.
Yeah, like the tasks
Yes.
and responsibilities of
you know,
this.
put that in it's important to have, but it doesn't have to be here. I think that makes sense.
Goes back to what Melissa's saying, if there's a place that's an appropriate place to have this full level of detail and it's accessible,
Could you make it an appendix to the job description?
Well, it also, I wonder, is there like a manual of a,
The
Okay.
fire department does not have a policy manual. That's one of the big tasks we're hoping to work with Lenny on.
so that's what this would go into, as well as some of the other sections, I think.
well, but I think there's another question there, the same question you asked. Is there an emergency management policy document?
I don't
There's
know.
only,
There's a
and it-
binder we all get when we start on the select board. There's a binder,
That's-
not direct specific, it's emergency management specific, right?
it's the emergency management plan is what's in the binder.
One of these things. It's probably one of these items responsible for putting together the plan. All right,
Or at least keeping it up to date.
yeah,
Um,
but not necessarily the place to put this stuff.
Right.
Well, let's leave it in for now, and
okay, let me grab it. Let me just go grab it.
as it's here, it is a part of the job, it is a responsibility.
And can we make it a recommendation from our board that the fire department develop a policy manual? No, that would be a piece of it. I think that's where a lot of this detail would go. And a job description is not
I'm
a
gonna-
policy manual.
To get
Right, the
here.
job description, we want to keep it at somewhat of a high level. In this job
Yeah.
description we're looking at is way too detail oriented.
I was trying to find, and I don't think I have a copy of the police chief's job description. And sort of wondering if there was some way that we could use that as to guide us here.
I
Yeah,
think
yeah, that's a
with
good
the
idea.
Fire chief one, there's a little bit more, it's a little slightly different, I think, in the way that there's it's not just police. It's a generally accepted police, job description or duties. And I think a fire department is, because there's laws that they have to abide by and trainings they have, you know what I'm saying? Just,
Mhm.
I think it has to be a little more detail than say a police chief.
No, I don't agree.
My
Melissa.
personal opinion.
Yeah.
Well, I do when it comes down to the work environment, because you have to highlight the hazards that they have.
But you have to do that for both.
True, and I think we did for both, but I know for a long time the contact what did they, biohazards wasn't in the fire chief one. Anyway, but it was added at one point. All right, so I dropped that back in and I moved this sentence down with it to introduce it.
Melissa, there's the mailbox on your screen. Is that on your screen? Or is that on my screen? Maybe
I
that's.
don't have a mailbox up. I still have the 2 Word document.
Okay, something's funky for me. Sorry. I'll figure
Okay.
it out.
I don't see the mailbox, so I don't think
Thank you. It was on my screen. I just couldn't get at it, but it made it so small I couldn't read the job description, so
Okay.
fix it.
Did we want to go over this since we had the moment, or just continue down until we get to it?
Yeah, let's
Hey,
continue.
let's
down.
continue down. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we move that down. Director spelled incorrectly. Now we're moving into essential duties. I move supervisory up to this point rather than having its own section.
I like that.
It's standard as a standalone section in all the job descriptions.
But it only had, it had all of the information up here in the administrative.
I'm just saying that you're changing it from the standard. That's all I'm pointing out.
This is the one sentence I brought up from that section.
There was only one sentence in the supervisor
One
section.
sentence, and there was one other thing underneath it.
I
Yeah,
think it's really important to keep them separate. I get why you did it, Melissa, but I think because it's
this is the section right here, was just these two lines.
and it's usually not a big section, but it's always standalone.
Okay,
That makes sense.
that definitely makes it easier to grade position.
Because it would be difficult to find it in the midst of all those other items.
So what did I put?
Is it typically, Becky, a small section? It just shows who they manage?
Yes. Yes.
April's right. I mean, it's been, I guess we have had
Oops.
other job descriptions to look at. I need to spend more time looking at job descriptions to familiarize myself again. I've worked on these in the past, but familiarize myself with our standards.
Do we want it down at the bottom like it was here?
Yeah, above education is, I believe, where it usually goes. And I know you guys are having a lot of great ideas. It's just trying to keep these so that they're easily comparable is,
I'm looking at the drafts that I worked on today, and I had done the same thing, Melissa. So great minds are
it's a
thinking
good
alike,
idea.
but let's separate it out.
Because all the job descriptions I've ever read for myself or such has always had the supervisory toward the top and then in amongst,
Well, I was going to suggest that we move the supervisory above the E911. The E911 and the emergency management are definitely responsibilities, but who they supervise is a really important part of their job. And it seems to me it should be up in a little higher up in terms of hierarchy or in terms of priority.
Well, and
Yeah.
usually in job descriptions, the most important stuff is at the top.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's why I
what
had
I'm
brought it.
thinking.
That's why I had brought it up to the top.
so let's bring it up to the top and just separate it out
Right after administration, right? Or
Yeah.
before administration?
after maybe.
Yeah, I'm thinking after, the next thing after administration. There's E911, and then what's,
Activities and operations, so administrative and activities and operations. Here,
I don't know, Becky, what do you think? Which would you rather have first? Administration?
I'm just gonna make sure you guys can have a chance to look at all the other job descriptions and see what the standard format is. And because if we're gonna do that, we should do that for all the job descriptions.
Yep. That's
You know,
all.
it's typically above education, but the E911 and the emergency management director section is unique to the fire chief.
Right?
So I think it should be at least above those.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah, I agree.
so here,
And we can always further refine this as we go through all of the job descriptions.
so here, I'll just put it toward the top here, and then we can always move it.
Yep.
Easy enough to copy and paste it out of there, right? I won't format it now. We can do it after. Okay.
Activities, is that where we
So
are?
that's up there. So do we want to look at this a little bit more? This section?
The administrative?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I consolidated a little bit. I wish I knew how to format. And I only
Just
have
tell me what
text.
the words are, and I can just put them in if you.
Okay, so under administrative, that's where we are, right? So drafts and implements fire department, blah, blah, blah. And looks at short-term, long-term resources, including but not limited to equipment and apparatus and scheduling requirements. And I added requisition supplies maintenance, maintains records of repairs and equipment. I think that was from below. I brought it, I just put it up there.
Okay, so that was requisitions.
Are you on
Yes.
number 1 or 2?
One.
On the administrative.
So you've gone from policies to requisitions in one paragraph?
Yeah,
That's pretty broad.
yeah. I was trying to edit, shorten. Plans for short-term, long-term resources, but not limited to. Plans for short and long. It's just the one.
What about down here on number 8 for requisitions, directs, controls, expenditures, and approval of budget? And you can put requisitions here since it's
Yeah.
budget related.
That would
Would you
make
feel better?
sense. Yes.
You had a beautiful sentence and you have to repeat it.
Well, I think it was already there. Requisition supplies, maintains records of repairs and equipment.
So you're pulling that out of number 3.
Yes. My intent was to just make it a little more brief.
Yeah, but I think it's not making it brief. It's putting together 2 very different concepts of being
Yeah.
responsible for policy and equipment
Yep.
and how you handle equipment, which are very different.
Yeah. I see what you're saying.
I don't think we even need to.
So
address-
here on, oh, go ahead, George.
I just don't think we even need to mention anywhere in the job description that he requisitions. Requisitioning supplies and purchases is a standard accounting function that happens for everyone in town hall. And that is really addressed under his directing and controlling of the expenditures and the approval of the approved budget. I mean, you know, I think it's too much detail.
So we can take, are you saying your suggestion in number 2 is to take this out, or what over here in
No,
number 3?
yeah, I don't know why we would need it, because that's something everybody has to do. If that's just a part of managing your budget and managing your expenses. That's just, you know, that's taking a standard step that everybody in town has to do and putting it in their job descriptions. And I just think that's more detail than we need. It's like one of those inherent things that everybody has to do that just doesn't need to be documented. I could be wrong, but I think that's more than we need in a job description.
I think part of the reason it's there is a lot of that work had been done by a clerk. And then when the clerk was no longer functioning, it was also added to this job description.
So what happens if we tighten it up here and administrators, rather than listing all the options, administrators take this out? I know it's only taking a couple words out.
Mhm.
As a department head, he could delegate that responsibility to somebody else. couldn't he?
Right, if he has a deputy or something, yeah. So, because administering can be delegating. Doesn't have to be that they have to administrate it themselves.
Right. Well, it's a broad term. They can include that.
But the problem, George, is the other people don't get paid for doing those things. They get paid for training and they get paid for call response. So
I'm just saying, keep it broad, whatever.
yeah, I agree with keeping it broad. I'm just trying to make sure that,
So I just took out those 3 words. I'm not sure the sentence works now, though.
I don't think that comma fits. That's what's confusing after administer.
Maybe that's it. Maybe that's what. Okay, is that better? And now there's another space.
Yep.
Administrative requisition. No, yeah, that does sound better.
Does it?
I'm one of those people that thinks there shouldn't be a comma after repairs. But that's just me.
That's baby boomers.
So I think I'm okay with it. Yeah, I'm okay
Yeah,
with it.
I'm fine with it. I'm also aware of the time.
Yeah, we do have to keep moving. I did have a comment, number 7, the word defends. It's a negative word.
It is.
Presents the budget. Good enough.
Period.
Well, it's already there.
Right.
Oh, I'm
Presents
sorry.
and presents. Yeah, I think that's good enough.
And again, this is the kind of thing that really would be in a policy manual, I think. Rather, just this kind of detail. Because I don't think that's in any other job descriptions that I remember.
What this one right here is, can we combine these two?
actually, number 8 covers about 3 others. I mean, you could take out number 3, no, number 2, the one you just finished. I think it's covered in 8.
Or
Yes.
vice versa.
But it's cleaner, directs and controls the expenditure
Of the
through
budget.
budget.
Yeah, and this is what I was
Yeah.
saying earlier, just a broad
Yes.
description.
Yeah, that's
All
the
right, so-
broad description.
So take
Yes.
this
Take
out.
out 2.
Yeah, and put
Yes.
8 there and just copy what was in 8. Now 7
Now 7, yeah.
and drag it right into 2.
That.
Hit
No,
the enter in front of insurers.
hit the what?
Enter.
All right.
Thank you.
I knew you knew how to do it.
It's great. A reminder is fine.
Okay. Sure, it's a fire.
So ensures prompt and proper completion of required paperwork. That's a pretty broad statement. I guess, yeah. What are examples? Do we know?
Maybe this goes up here with number 2, because there's paperwork involved with this.
Yeah, but there might be other paperwork too, fire regulations.
State reporting,
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm wondering. So,
but see, it should be combined with the annual report is one of those things, proper completion of paperwork.
Yep.
Even though it never got done, it's got to stay on the list, but
Is that better to add it to the end there?
But that's, isn't also included that you ensure all existing MOAs and MOUs, certificate, all those, that piece, number 3, wouldn't that be under,
Paperwork.
Yeah,
yeah, I'll require, and just take that out. Again, that would be in a manual, that level of specificity of policies.
Good job.
So did you take number 3 out or do something like that, April?
I was thinking just take it out and that the person is responsible for maintaining all required paperwork, period.
So this.
Yeah.
We
That
can-
makes sense.
Tap the select board or the supervisor of the fire chief in any way because it's no longer specifically noted in the job.
say that question again, George?
So if you're supervising the fire chief and he doesn't do all the things we just deleted out of this job description, does it make it difficult for his supervisor to require him to do it? Or is it something that's going to be clearly communicated and understood when they have the job?
I'm just worried he's not going to know what he needs to do. That's
Right.
That's, yeah, I'm thinking the same
That's the
thing.
problem.
To
And
what
that's-
extent do we exclude things and to what extent do we keep things is not always easy to tell.
I think maybe that is calling for the appendix, which is a list of tasks,
Yep.
which
Which is,
we don't ever put in a job description, but
I think we need to here. Well, it would be, it's in lieu of having a completed policy manual.
Oh, whoops, that's not the one I wanted. Hang on.
so we
I have
would
to go
want to
back
make
and-
it like, as referenced in Appendix A and make the Appendix A that list of tasks.
The details.
So make a reference to Appendix A, see Appendix A. And then have that ensures prompt supervisor completion of paperwork and under it, the description of what that is. Yeah.
And does that have the annual report still in it?
No, that's still separate. So
That's up
that-
above.
Just put it there so we don't forget it. It's right here still. But I can put that up here. 'Cause it's this one, Becky, you're talking about?
Yeah.
Couldn't it be like an example, like ensures prompt and proper completion of required paperwork, including but not limited to the annual report, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera?
That would be another way of saying it.
Yeah. And that way that list could be updated or you could, but you know, including but not limited to covers you.
It does. You're right.
Yeah, because there could be new requirements every other month.
Yeah.
I
And
know
the
that
state could throw something or we could ask for something or, yeah.
But I think the main sentence ensures prompt and proper completion of required paperwork is the important thing.
Yeah.
And then saying something like included but not limited to the annual report, et cetera, that's just a little more granular, but the top sentence is the most important thing.
Well said. Thank you.
What's that? Shall we put that he includes but not limited to?
Yes.
Well, I think it would be including but not limited to, like,
Including-
so the required paperwork,
Comma.
comma, including but not limited to.
Well, it's a broad range of things there. He's going to be required, the fire chief is required.
I mean, you don't have to list everything, but you would say like annual report, whatever else. And then you could say, and any other documents required for the job, I mean, it can be that general. It doesn't have to be so specific.
right.
Maybe just required.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good.
I was thinking other regulatory documents, but that's good.
I mean, we have required twice. I don't know if we want both, but both there, required paperwork and documents required.
Yeah, that's why I was thinking getting rid of the second required and in front of
Yeah.
documents, put regulatory
Another, yeah, sure.
or regulatory or other regulatory, including regulatory. I don't know. Because as a fire chief, this person is going to be responsible for a lot of reporting, I'm sure.
There is, yeah.
investigations and reports.
And it's within the department too. A lot of it stays, you know, for reference and such. All right.
Should it be the annual report?
And does-
Say it one more time, Melody. Sorry.
Sorry, should it be the annual report?
Yes. And it should necessarily be other regulatory or and regulatory.
And
Yeah. Yeah, and
other, but we could ignore that.
When it says directs and supervises, isn't that redundant?
Well, that's because it was down below. I had brought it up because have it, you know, so
Yeah, no, I was just asking about the use
Yeah.
of both words.
do we want directs or supervises?
How?
Correct.
do you want to say manages and supervises? Or, because, I mean, it's part of personnel management.
Yes, I like that.
Well, that's not consistent with what we have below in supervising your responsibility, though.
Well, manages does, so if we take out supervises, manages does have the intention or the underlying that you are the supervisor.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just saying right now, the way number 4 reads, he's supervising everybody. Yeah. Now he's not, because down below we say he's not.
But you do, you say supervises all
no.
personnel in the fire department.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
I'm
then
looking at the red part. I'm looking at the red part. Yeah, you're
Yeah,
right.
but the black part is.
Yeah,
the-
no, that's true. Sorry. That's not bad.
The one is as the emergency management director and the other is as the fire chief. So that's a little confusing.
Yeah, the one in red was in the
Emergency management director section, I think.
yeah, it's right here.
Yeah.
It was off the original job description, or it was added. Yes, last time.
In this second part, supervises deputy and assistant emergency management director is important because they may not necessarily be fire department personnel.
But maybe it needs to clarify that that's as his position of the emergency management director. As emergency management director, he supervises.
Well, it's kind of inherent in the statement, but sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true, but it confused you, George.
Well, it did, but I'm not really paying good attention.
Oh, I thought it was
I'm
just
trying. It's the heat.
the red that threw you off.
Yeah, that could be.
Yes.
AS.
I'm not as emergency management director supervises the deputy and the assistant supervises
Yeah.
Yeah.
That seems right.
emergency management directors.
Okay, so I have a question, whether there should be, there used to only be an assistant.
Yeah, I can't remember why there was a deputy. I remember we went over this in the emergency.
Because Walter brought in Mark Foster to be the assistant, but we don't know if Lenny will do that. Just throwing that out there.
No, that's a good point.
It is a good point.
Structure, we can't make a decision.
Why
Well,
not
what
just leave it?
we could say, so if we put supervises a deputy and a assistant emergency management director, and it doesn't change it.
No.
This says with the in front of it, does it say we have one? If we put a deputy and a assistant, it doesn't matter. We're not putting names in here anyway. So
No. Supervises the deputy, period.
but we can't make a decision if we don't know how it's gonna be
No.
structured.
Right.
That's right.
But if it's in the job description, it becomes like
We have to
something
do it
that's
this way.
supposed to happen. I'm
Right.
just pointing it out because it happened because Walter designated him as such.
So what is,
What happens if we put as emergency director supervises other,
Or we could just say emergency management director takes lead role in the emergency management team.
Period.
well, yeah,
Isn't that inherent in the idea that maybe we don't need that at all?
Yeah,
so how many people are on the emergency?
Take it out.
So the team is the select board, the highway department, superintendent, the principal,
Board of Health.
Board of Health?
board of health, the radio expert.
Yeah, Ham, and then we had that, and the public information coordinator.
Yeah, the PIO and the town administrator.
So pretty much everybody you mentioned are people that do not report up to him through the normal,
Right.
So what happens if we put supervises the emergency management team members?
or
And then,
directs.
Because he
or
doesn't,
Directs.
I think directs because he can't supervise them. He doesn't have supervisor authority, but he has authority as a director. So maybe it shouldn't be here.
Yeah, and isn't that included in the list for the emergency management director description?
right.
So
he
just,
doesn't have authority over the select board as emergency management director.
but he still manages us in a situation. Like, we would be looking to him also for, give me the job to do, what do you need us to do, right? So, because that he'd be the expert, or he'd hand stuff off. As we've done those role playing, the emergency management director hands out the tasks, as we went through that role playing thing that we did in Greenfield.
So he manages.
So he manages
Not
and,
supervisory.
yeah, so
Not
he
supervisory.
manages and directs the emergency management team, because
I
that's
think
really what he
that
does.
level of responsibility should not be in this section. It should be
Yeah.
down.
yeah,
below.
I put it with a job, that part of the job.
And it might already be in the emergency management.
Probably is. Yeah, I bet you're right. Chairs, management team meetings. Proper level. I don't see it.
No, it's not.
So let's not add it.
What do you mean? Well, we could put it here, something here, chairs the emergency management team meetings, and then we could say directs and manages the emergency management team.
During an emergency.
During an meeting, yes.
Yeah.
A declared emergency. And again, a lot of this could be part of
Because he
appendix
really
A.
doesn't manage either. He's not going to be managing the chair of the select board.
Yeah, but in a situation, not manage it, but in a situation, he becomes the person that takes the lead. So he is the person managing the incident command center.
Can you
But
just say
only
leads
during
and
an
directs?
incident, and that's not clear here.
Well, I
Can you
have,
just say
And really, we're,
leads and directs the members?
say that one more time, Melody.
Can you just say leads and directs instead of manages and directs?
But we got to make sure it also says during an incident,
and
not,
I think this number 7, we have 2 things here that are separate. Chairs the emergency management team meetings. That's when we have standard emergency team meetings to talk about policy and procedure. That's not an during emergencies. I think this sentence should be split into 2 sentences. In fact, chairs emergency management team. Yeah, that's what I think.
yep, that's great.
But we still haven't resolved the supervises the deputy and,
Or just get rid of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
now we can dump that.
yeah, it's, yeah,
That's the point of this here.
Put just during an emergency event.
So at
And
the
then-
very top of this section, you can,
I guess it was critical that Walter supervise the person that's filling the assistant emergency management, because he brought him in to be his, to have somebody,
A second in command.
but
that
again,
doesn't,
we don't know what's going to transpire with that.
And who knows, we may decide as a select board or emergency management team to have 2 people leading and have co-directors, right? Because that's an option too.
Yep.
Right. So it's kind of all flexible at this moment.
But maybe best to take out,
just take that out. It could be added at some point or not.
Or maybe it's a emergency management incident policy that outlines in this situation, this is how it's going to work, right?
sounds great.
So Melody has 5 minutes.
Okay.
Or
Or
my
right.
clock just ticked to
I'll
20.
go back up to where we were. All right, so we were here. Were we headed into anything here? You see, I want to give you a chance first because you're kind of on anything here. I think this is review, not reviews.
yes, I agree.
Reviews, Broadway.
Right.
I hope Lenny can dance and sing.
You'd be surprised at people's talent.
Again, is this too much detail? Is this more something to look at in an appendix?
Well, this is definitely required.
Yes.
I think laying out this is important.
Yes.
What kind of, number 9, performs plan reviews. What kind of plan?
If there's
All the
something for the,
emergency plans.
Building plans?
There's there's a dam emergency plan, there's a town-wide emergency plan.
This says performs plan reviews for building permits.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So it's building.
Oh, that
plan.
one is, yeah, because you must sign off on the building permits.
Right, so I'm just wondering if we should be, I guess it doesn't matter because it says building permits. Okay, I guess it's
But
fine. the way it
again,
is.
I think the majority of this stuff is all the actual tasks involved.
yes.
A lot of it, again, is the actual tasks involved, which is great detail, but I think it might belong in the appendix.
Yeah, I agree.
Because it's more a step-by-step manual of how to be be a fire chief.
Wouldn't it be more like an SOP, like these are our standard operating procedures, or these are,
That's a great term.
That, yes.
Operating procedures.
Which they don't have.
But we could start creating for them based on this.
Well, and maybe if Lenny becomes a new chief, working with him in writing this and creating it might help in his orientation.
I missed something. Did they hire somebody already for this?
Yeah,
Okay.
the hiring is contingent on the contract negotiation at this point and the background check, but the select board had an official vote about a week. When was that?
Almost 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks on Tuesday. Will be 2.
And it's the ranking member of the current fire department. He's been a lieutenant for 18 years.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah, so it's an internal candidate.
Does he know what Walter made?
Yes.
Yeah, it's all public.
It was around 70, I believe.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was around 70.
About a
I'm not
minute.
exactly sure. I think that's right.
Melody, is there any other things you want to mention before you head out
Um,
that you feel
I mean, my best suggestion is to go for an SOP because some of this stuff is way too granular,
Yeah.
but that's just my
I
suggestion.
like that. I like that idea.
Great
'cause
one.
I think you could pull
Okay.
out.
Have a good night.
Thank
night.
you.
You too.
See
Good
ya.
night.
Bye.
Good night, Melody.
Yeah, like I think this is a good thing to have when you want them to be familiar with something that's got a code because it's, but like Melody said, you know,
And so it's, performs all firefighting duties, includes response to fire alarms, medical and other emergencies within the town area of Shutesbury and other towns within the mutual response area.
where are you reading?
Oh, something I wrote.
Oh,
Well, I was combining some things with
like I
that.
don't remember that here.
Yeah, April, I don't think combining is helpful.
Oh, okay.
Because I think if we can sort out the stuff that should go in the appendix, I think that's how you weed stuff out. But once you start combining it, I think the pieces get lost.
Yes.
Or-
So I think, yeah, that's fine. So how do we pull
Other
out?
people's ideas, I might
Essential.
not agree
So
with.
this here, this number 11 must be reasonably available to public via phone or in person to answer any and all questions. That's kind of,
Yeah, that shouldn't be in a job description.
No,
yeah, that's kind of an accepted practice, I think, isn't it?
Yeah,
If
that's
you're
standard.
there and you're
be
there,
available to the public.
you're at least answering the phone. I mean, they're on calls. They certainly are answering the radio, I don't know if that's, I think if anything, this goes down with your skill set or down in the, this part.
Right.
And I think that's just basic operating, professional.
Yeah.
It's like if you have to tell somebody that the phone's ringing and you better answer,
And be polite.
You have to answer it.
Or direct someone to do it.
Right. I'm not answering that thing.
I guess that's,
Yeah, I think that I'm okay with dropping that sentence.
This one, number 11.
Yeah.
See, public relations activities is answering the phone,
Exactly.
answering questions. That's what
Yeah,
this,
fostering good relationships with the government.
that's all of what we just deleted. And more, really,
Yeah, I'm okay with it. Dropping it.
So how much of this could be pulled out?
as tasks.
Yeah.
okay, so we haven't kept up with the parallels, so
There's a lot of redundancy in this.
Yes,
I
there
see
is.
redundancy.
15,
Yeah,
16, and 17 were all new in 2018.
Oh, here, I'll go back up. I'll start going back through them. 15, 16, 17. Well, I think 4,
And then
Yeah,
10
which is
and
different
11
now.
were also new. That one you just got rid of was brand new, had never been there.
Wasn't needed.
and,
No. Must be a professional.
So now ours are, because we've taken out a few, ours are renumbered over here. I think
Right.
when it does say something to do with code like the 780 CMR, I think that's important to have those in there because it
But that-
points them to regulation that they have to be on top of.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion.
Yeah,
Whenever
no,
there's
I
that-
agree with that. That covers us in that it points to the fact that we are aware of that regulation and we are codifying it in the position.
But wouldn't that be in the more in the SOP? Or, could we have that more general in the job description and the specificity in the appendix or whatever we want to call it?
Because that number 14, it's not talking about a fire code. It's referring to general building practices.
I know,
because-
but that was the first one I saw.
Well, I'm just
Over so
questioning whether,
quickly.
yeah.
But I think where better option is up here on number 10, where I'm circling right here. I just happen to see the numbers and acronyms, but this as it changes too through the legislature, because that would, would be updated, and that we highlight those things.
And that was brand new.
So maybe using the, what was added in the document on the left.
This one?
Yes, that's giving us more of a clue, I think, of what might go into the appendix and what we really should keep.
This, see number 15 here,
Yep.
which is different on our side, this other side, because we've changed a couple things.
Yeah.
Rather than,
That would be, it has to keep up credentials, but
right, but rather than having it listed like this long, could it be,
And remains vigilant is kind of odd.
yeah, it's almost like continuing education, right?
right.
So continuing training, which is
It's
very,
assumed.
very close to this one. So could these two be combined in a way that's so general, that's more general?
Yeah.
So
That's a good idea.
participates in training classes, job enhanced skills and abilities, and then abilities, including changes to laws, regulation, codes.
That's great, Melissa. I like that.
Okay. It's gonna highlight it. And then this rest of it could just,
Yeah, delete.
right?
Yeah.
Which means, what number is it on here? Remain. So this whole thing, number 14, can be tossed. Right?
Yep.
So this one also goes up, that we ask them to participate. Can 12 and 14 be included here, or can 14 go up where it talks about him directing the personnel or managing the
I
personnel?
think 14 could be deleted.
Yeah, because we already addressed that, I thought.
Yeah. Yes.
I feel like we've read that before.
It was with the management. Hold on. I'm going to go up here. I think it was with hires, manages, meets. No, that's not. Oh, yeah. Right here.
Yeah.
Ensures that fire
Maintain all
department.
required training.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's already addressed.
This actually, I'm going to pull this out. This may be the one with the standard operating procedures, maybe under training. So I'm going to pull that. I'm going to just delete it here, but I'm going to take it and put it on that little list we had started.
That's a
Great.
good idea.
It can become a section probably. Okay.
Participation in organizations is common in our job descriptions.
It is. And this is particular because we want him to maintain some of what Walter has
Right.
established as a relationships, right? That's
Yeah.
important.
So,
Hi, Drew.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
no, that's fine. It is fine. Number 10, just one thing. I think the word transfer should be, have an S for all transfers. Yeah, just because it was highlighted. But there's another place in this job description where we mention mutual aid, right? One of the
That could-
things that,
Yeah,
I'm
right
sure-
up here.
okay. So response to fire alarms, medical emergencies, and other towns within the tri-state mutual aid response area. So when I'm just wondering if we should be specific about when we actually do provide mutual aid, when it's requested.
when it's asked for, yeah.
I don't
mean-
think that needs,
People that respond.
Has there ever been situations where the fire chief would go to a mutual aid situation even if he wasn't requested to? I mean, is that a
So
concern?
him and Mark are special, well, Walter and Mark, so I'm not sure about Lenny, so I can't speak to this specifically, but Walter was trained in hazardous, so whenever there was a spill, him and Mark would go because they had special training in the region,
That
so
other towns
especially
don't.
South Deerfield. And there was I remember there was one summer, there was something that spilled and him and Mark were out there because they were of the fire personnel that were available, they were the trained in whatever it was.
That's impressive. Within the Shutesbury town. All right, well, I was just wondering if we should qualify it so that, we make it clear to the chief, you only need to respond to mutual aid when you're asked to. I guess that's probably not.
I
been an
they
issue.
don't think they go out until they're asked because they don't want
Yeah,
to
okay.
clog up the
That's
scene,
Right.
Yeah.
all right.
no.
Although I
that
think when Greg Steve's house was on fire and the alarm went out, they asked for 5 alarm and 7 or 8 or a total of 11 towns showed up. People just jumped and came.
Well, I suppose sometimes you don't know who can and who can't because they might be out at emergencies, so they all show.
That was also when Walter's contract was up and everybody was very supportive of him too. So
I do remember that.
Yes.
let's see. Is this more task related here for like that SOP as well, ensures maintenance of hydrants, standpipes and other water
Yes.
sources?
I would think so.
Or could it also go with this section here?
I think both
That's
of
not-
those could go on the appendix.
Yeah,
I think they're separate though. One's learning and understanding where all the apparatus is, and the other one is talking about maintaining the apparatus. So I would still leave them separate.
Leave them separate here or put them in?
No, I agree with what Becky said. We can move them,
Okay.
but I would still keep them separate was my point.
Yeah, I'll put them on that list.
and maybe the next one down. Where is that? Number 5, now number 4.
Formerly known as 5.
Confers with town officials,
No, number 4. Well, 4 and 5.
familiarity, location, layout of buildings and types of building construction. Might be a little bit specialized, I think.
Yep.
But
And by that, do you mean that it should go on the list, Melissa, or?
I think that's a good question. I guess it could go either place, but I'm wondering if it fits better in the job description because we're asking them to maintain that level of education on those.
Mm,
But it's not, I mean,
This is what's leading me to think that the types of building construction.
Do we,
You have
did
to
we
know how-
already address that the fire chief has to maintain, up-to-date training? That's already in here.
Yeah, we had just played around with that one.
yeah, so I think this, again, it's just duplicating that general
Yeah.
term. It's just being very specific about what training and what knowledge he should
So
have.
let's
right.
put that on the other list then.
Yes.
Oh, wait a
yes.
second. It does mention, I'm gonna cut this out. Down in the education, I'm gonna do it on the left-hand side here. It did say something about construction.
Yeah, he says a whole thing over here, building HVAC
HVAC
system.
system, building construction, because these are important things to have. Okay, so we'll just put it on the list of tasks.
Absolutely. I mean,
But
I
I'm
think,
not-
that-
I
That's
think we need to go through that list that you were just.
will, we
looking at
will.
too, Melissa.
I went through a little bit and tightened up where it had all these things listed that were the same and I put them on one line.
See, I think when you're talking about, I think we've already covered all of that where it says keeping your training up to date.
yep.
Where are you, Becky?
I'm just saying that the red where it says the 5 elements of have knowledge of, knowledge of, knowledge of.
Yeah, I just, building construction is a specific, I think building construction and how you needing to know how an HVAC system works to be able to put out a fire is a little more specific than just keeping up with training.
So
They,
that,
they need to know what a system, an electrical system will do if they put water on it, and they need to know what a firebox will do if it's, do you know what I'm saying? Like it's very
Yeah,
specific.
but my
They
point.
have to
was
shut them
that-
down. They have to shut them down in a house when they're fighting fire. They have to go in and be able to shut it down.
but does that mean, should that be in the job description or in the appendix?
Yeah, or is it already covered
This is
by,
under education. This is under.
Yes.
education.
And this is the such as that the appendix, I mean, it's important to have it noted, but I don't think it needs to be in the job description. I think the idea of coming up with an appendix, SOP, whatever.
Well, you could put on their SOP, you could put on related trainings and then have them all listed there, right?
Yeah.
Related training topics.
I mean, I'm thinking like when I used to have a job, there were lots of things I needed to be trained in, but they were not part of specifically in my job description.
Yeah, Amherst has very long job descriptions. Everything is laid out
Yeah.
in great.
So that's,
detail.
I don't agree with doing things that way, though. I think a broad description.
No, I don't either, because it's hard to follow a job description or have flexibility when it's all laid
Yeah,
out.
exactly. The flexibility part especially, because things change.
yeah. But having these noted in a separate place, I think are important, especially as a new chief comes in.
Is there anything else here?
Where were we?
We went from 15 or 16, 19. Where did we go? We went from 17 to 11.
Right.
I like
Good
it.
work.
Wow.
And you didn't lose anything. We just moved it to being available.
We're creating another document.
Yeah. I think
So
we-
why don't we jump onto this monster known as the emergency management director?
Mm,
Does this sentence that we moved and put as an introduction, does that still apply? Do we think here? I think it's a good way to introduce it.
I do too.
And
I
it might,
agree.
okay.
yeah, I agree.
So, I was just reading it though, in the absence of any.
Melissa, could you make the type a little bigger? I'm starting to feel old.
No, that's okay. I can easily do it.
on.
I don't want it to disappear, but here we go.
Thank
And I
you.
can always push it this way a little bit and we can always go back and forth too.
Oh, and I should be able to do that myself. I always forget that.
That's all right. I
That
don't
looks
mind.
good.
Others are probably having the same issue.
Oh, I did. I moved mine too.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I'm not admitting it.
You're not admitting you're in denial.
No.
In denial.
I'm in total denial. No, I'm not.
So number one makes sense, is develop a plan. Develops an emergency operating center facility and emergency shelter. Is that during an emergency?
Oh, and they have to, I remember they have to initiate the emergency operating or EOC. So they have to be the ones to say, we have an emergency, we need to open an EOC, which is the second floor of the town of the fire station. And then emergency shelter is the school or the town hall and then the school.
So is the word develop not the right word?
I don't think it is because you don't develop an emergency shelter.
Right.
We know what that is on the team. So it would be maybe
Initiates,
opens,
opens. Yeah, opens. is great.
Establishes?
establishes.
Yeah,
Opens, establishes.
open bar.
Open bar, I like that. I'm ready.
Shall we say during an event, an emergency event?
Yeah, during. Yeah, perfect.
During an emergency is probably good enough, but yeah,
Yeah, because we, it can be anything. We'll just leave it at anything.
that's fine.
We don't define. We don't want to define.
Right, we don't want to get locked in. That we can only do an emergency shelter when it's over 100 degrees.
I think this word should be develops and coordinates.
Yeah,
Sorry about that. I just had to find out where the dog was. Just getting anxious and ready to jump out a window. Anyway.
I thought you had them trained.
Oh, God, yes. No, there's weather. I'm on the porch. I can tell there's some weather coming.
There is. It's looking, there's some dark clouds to our northwest.
Yeah, this is when it gets crazy. Sorry about that. Alan's on him. I just
And
want
I'm
to
looking
make
at
sure.
this new weather app and it shows some really cool stuff.
Is that Vantusky?
I think it is a very cool app.
Isn't it
Melissa.
awesome?
It
You
is
can look
awesome.
at waves in the ocean. It's just fantastic.
It's pretty amazing. I think it's great.
You'll
All
never
right, I
listen to the
digress.
weatherman again.
The
Oh,
geek
what's
in me. Melissa was telling us about a weather app she likes to use. So I went and
Downloaded.
accessed it on the web. It's very cool.
If you do the snow one, you can see how much of the globe is currently covered in snow.
That's cool. Yeah, I got.
Yeah, if you look at play with the filters, it's easier on the computer to play with it.
Yeah,
see-
and you need a big screen.
But it's fun. It's great.
I think it's great.
In fact,
It's not a free app, right?
it is.
No, it's free.
Oh, good.
VenTusky. In fact, maybe at the next emergency management team meeting, we can all bring it up on the screen and play with it.
Yeah, it's
The
not
other one you
going-
had shown me was called Windy.
Oh, I use that for sailing.
Oh, cool.
Yes.
So we just added develops and coordinates here because
Okay. I just as an aside, the radar, most of the storms seem to be going north of us.
Yes.
And mine says $3.99. Anyway,
Are you looking on your phone?
yeah, I was trying to download the app.
Yeah, no,
Once my-
I'm looking at it by going to the website, vinsky.com.
if you go to Google Play or the Apple Store, Becky, it's in there. Vantusky.
No, it went there. It went to the Apple Store and brought this. I'll look at it later. Because it wants to charge me money and you said it's free. So
Well, yeah, it's free on the web. When I go to their .com.
Yeah,
site.
my Apple's free too. So
okay, I'll check it out
Anyway,
later.
and I just have to, it's embarrassing to have a dog you have to monitor like this. But I may have to move indoors. Anyway.
let's see, represents the town on the, I think this is important to leave in,
Yes.
Yeah.
but we can get rid of the widow line there.
Yeah, you're gonna narrow all those, aren't you?
Yeah, I will. I'll go through and play with it. Prepares and administers grants related to emergency preparedness.
Yeah, well, he doesn't prepare a grant, right? He prepares a grant request. Well, I don't know if it matters.
Walter used to do the EMPG grant. He'd write the whole thing. We'd meet about
Well,
it.
it fills in the application.
So prepares.
That's fine.
and
Yeah,
apply.
that completes application or completes request, grant request and administers grant. I don't know. Prepares, I guess, is good enough. I think administers is important for sure.
Right, because they,
Once we get the grant, it's up to him to make sure that we're doing
And-
everything required.
Yep.
But it's how do we request it, the prepares part? Completes grant applications or,
I think now you're getting too granular.
all right, well, if you think prepares is adequate, okay.
how about facilitates and administers grants?
I have a feeling if Melody were here, she would come up with the word. She
Done
has
a good
that.
job with that.
Yes.
I put in applies. I can take it out.
Prepares and administers grant.
Well, for me, it's really requesting the grant. It's how are we describing, prepares adequately describing?
You don't really have to request it, George. The applications come every friggin' year and you just
So
prepare.
applies and administers grants? Applies for and administers?
Well, there's really.
But it
just
sounds
one
like they
grant.
just land on your lap.
So prepares is fine then. Okay, I'm not gonna
I
argue
think
with it.
so.
All right.
Prepares, okay.
Hmm.
Should we add
It's
a
been
word?
there.
Yeah, okay. Was there a word we wanted to put in here?
No, I'm fine with
No?
it.
Okay, you're good.
We can leave it. Ensures proper level of IC training. What's ICS?
Incident command.
And system.
That actually go, that kind of goes up here with
The general
develops
training.
this here. Or this, I'm sorry, right here. Develops
Yeah.
training.
Yeah.
So
It's redundant.
it's
I think it could go in the appendix.
you think this could? Or is it, can we just put ICS training for all town employees at the right at that? Yep. See what this is what I'm
Yeah, it fits better up there.
right. Something like this, and then the remaining part we'll put on that list.
Okay,
Okay.
So it hints at it there, and it describes it here.
Yeah, can we go back to the part of, on the other?
Just to give it a title because we hadn't done that yet. Okay. Where did you want to go?
Yeah, back to where it is, because I don't think the wording was quite right. So
Okay.
develop and coordinate training exercises, activities for municipal employees, a wide variety of potential emergency disasters. IC training for all applicable town employees. So coordinates IC training or something like that.
Yeah,
I guess
so
the
that's
verb,
the ones,
some
those are
sort
the
of
ones
verb.
that we take, there's at least one that we take.
Yep.
So they want to coordinate that with us, right?
Okay. You're saving these, right?
Oh, yeah, all the time. Control
Yeah,
F.
good. I should know better. I know you do.
Change it, yes, it's saved.
I live under.
I've
that
learned the
fear all
hard way
time.
once.
Yeah, I think we all
Well, you never
have.
know when your computer's gonna go down.
I would say for me, it was probably more than once.
Represents town, that's we wanted to say, prepares administers grants was good, chairs emergency management
We
team,
covered these.
Yeah,
leading direct event,
yeah.
oversee annual review and update action plan for Lake Wyola Dam. So here's this is interesting that the two are together, overseeing the annual update and review of the action plan, and then serves as the incident commander and primary contact person for all emergencies. Didn't we have that up above?
yeah,
Yeah,
that
we've
doesn't-
got
Yeah,
that
that's,
above.
I mean, if for all Lake Wyola emergencies. right?
No, it shouldn't be specific to what
No.
type of emergency.
Well, I think this whole paragraph is specific to Lake Wyola.
No, because it says serves as incident commander and primary contact.
Right, but I thought that was in the, all right, well, that's fine.
Yeah,
Right.
that works.
So you think it's,
I think it specifically is a part of that Lake Wyola thing, but
You
that's
think so?
okay. I mean, that's covered up here anyways.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be there.
Yeah, and we
twice.
just said emergency events. It can be anything, right?
Right,
Right, like an ice
So-
storm.
but there is a specific annual emergency action plan for the lake. So this paragraph is required to
Yeah.
point that out.
for the
Yeah,
dam.
it's quite
Yeah,
a
for the dam, excuse me, yes.
Yeah, and that's monitored by the dam department.
Yeah.
That's dam department.
The dam department, works with, and here it is. It works with the works with the dam keeper.
So maybe that's redundant.
This one and this one.
Yeah, is it?
No,
On
it's
the-
a-
Well, no,
No,
'cause
it's
this is
not. No,
monitoring
no, that's
water
the,
levels.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's
That's
right.
non-emergency activity.
Yeah,
That's,
It's ongoing.
so should that be part of the addendum? SOP, SOB?
Yes.
Yeah, the works with the dam keeper on the ongoing monitoring of the water level?
I think works with the dam keeper is what can stay here.
Yes,
And then, right, and then what they do goes on the other one. So we'll copy and paste this here. And then we can make this that.
but that, yeah.
Or does this fit up here with number 8? Right?
Overseas annual review.
But-
Maybe
Works-
it should be the first part of number 8.
Yeah,
That's-
works with the dam keeper. And oversees. works with that dam keeper. Yeah, that's good.
That actually works better.
Works with the dam keeper, but my only concern about that is working with the dam keeper to monitor the water level is an ongoing activity versus overseeing the annual review is an annual activity.
So is that a job description, not part of the
I just think
emergency
by-
management?
Well, the dam keeper's involved in the, when Walter's doing the annual review of the action plan, he talks to Howie about it. I would
I understand that,
imagine, I mean, about
We
any
lost that
update.
we lost that whole reference to the regular monitoring of water level. Because that kind of doesn't, I don't know. It seems to me like that,
On,
I mean, we're defeating the purpose if we just took it out, but
does that make it better?
'Cause I think the work with the dam keeper is woven into the emergency management piece. It wouldn't normally be part of a fire chief. And here comes the thunder.
yeah, you're right. Well, but
Thinking, George?
What about coordinates with the dam keeper?
the thing is, there's two different things we're talking about here. We're talking about the annual review and updating the emergency management plan, but we're also talking about more day-to-day activity, which was working with the dam keeper to monitor the lake level.
Well, the dam keeper is the one responsible for monitoring the lake level. But if
Yeah,
there
but-
are any issues, he contacts Walter. So like when all the gunk is stuck in the dam and things aren't working right, Walter helps him out and does diving and cleans out the traps and stuff.
Well, is that going to continue to be a fire department responsibility? Or-
I don't know if Lenny's a diver, so I wouldn't assume that he would do that, but he still would work with the dam keeper to solve problems.
And so maybe they would work in, with that, they'd hire somebody or there would be a
I
volunteer.
wasn't even thinking that way. I thought that the fire department would be interested in the water levels to know that they have enough water to put out fires at the lake. But I guess that's
But
kind of
it's
silly.
also how much might flow downstream to create an emergency. Like if it's filling up too quickly, it's going out too quickly. So it's that part of the monitoring too.
Like when they do an annual drawdown of the lake, the fire department, they'd have to go farther to get the water.
But
I don't know.
that's in part of another,
No, they just have to go like 10 feet farther. The water won't.
It doesn't
go
seem
that
that
far.
far.
Yeah,
No.
it's not about the water for,
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, that's the way I
Right.
was, reading it. So wasn't thinking it in terms of maintenance of the dam.
I
Yeah,
think that the emergency management team was first created because the dam during a storm was within an inch or less of overtopping.
Yeah,
And it was the meetings that responded to that emergency situation and Howie working and Walter working together, monitoring it and Walter relaying the information to the other departments. That was the initial emergency.
the one that was most seen as an emergency. And then it became hurricanes and ice storms and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So maybe it's coordinates with checks
Works
in.
with the dam keeper in assuring dam safety.
yeah, I like that.
dam integrity.
Say that
Dam
again.
Safety, yeah. I was thinking
Very
dam
dam
integrity, but
integrity.
safety is fine.
Yeah, in assuring dam integrity. Or integrity of the dam. Just so it doesn't sound like that goddamn.
Like that
Dam
dam
It's
integrity.
integrity.
going to no matter which way you put him.
That Dam integrity.
Howie's the dam keeper.
Damn good at it.
Assuring,
Who is he? Where does he live? Does he live in that White House on the corner?
No,
No,
lives on
That's
a
where the
hill,
old dam keeper. used
on
to
a
live,
hill so that
Moriarty.
if the dam goes, he's not gonna get flooded. It lives on the top of a hill, ensuring dam integrity.
should it
Yeah.
be the dam's integrity?
Yes.
yes.
The apostrophe S.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
Often, oops, it's often.
Can't have as much fun with that.
No, darn. Okay,
So just oversees the annual review then.
Yep.
check that out. Or this was going on our list, or this was gonna stay here? Or was that
Well-
going up above? Was that gonna go up here too?
Well, isn't there someplace where it mentions the other emergency plans?
It's right up here.
Or should they be separately listed? I think they should all be lumped together.
Yeah, word.
Because there's a town emergency plan.
So we're already overseeing annual review and update of emergency plans.
Why don't we do this? Hold on. I thought it was up here. Establishes EOC.
It might be above that.
Oh, right here. Develops local government
Right.
agency plans outlining governmental force supporting group will be responsible for. Isn't that the book?
Is that broad enough to cover the dam?
Yep.
Yep. You got the dam covered, but maybe that should be in the
Take,
in the
take this
addendum.
out. So we're gonna take this out. Okay.
And put it in the
Put it in the addendum
Our tasks.
or whatever we're calling it.
list of
Yeah, we'll have
tasks.
to talk about what this is later because I'd like to understand it better.
Yeah. Well, who knows?
It's a manual. I think,
What it morphs into, right?
Well, I want to document it for
Yeah.
the minutes. Okay.
Feel a binder coming on for that particular thing that we're creating, but that's okay. I'm a binder person. All right, so we did this. Ensures all holders of copies of action receive and implement all updates as issued.
I think that should go on the task list. I mean, that's a detail about, that's not a main function.
Yep.
I mean, that's something that's important to make sure
subfunction of-
happens, but it's not telling you how to do your job.
I'm sure it's probably due for an update too.
Yeah.
Reviews and updates all emergency plans. I think that's fine. That fills what that is, Becky.
But I know, but don't we have it up above, or is that what you brought down?
No, this was here, but
Develops local, no, but number 1 is duplicating it.
yeah, hold on. I'm gonna bring it up so we can see it in context. Gonna add it to the end and see how we want to change it.
no, I think the first sentence says it.
Think so?
I do.
Local government.
It's just easier to see them when they're next to each other.
Oh,
That was
yeah,
very helpful.
That makes sense.
Okay. Confidential list all members of the emergency and management team. I guess this is just part of being them on the emergency management team.
Yeah, I think that goes to the appendix.
good, yeah.
So,
So weather conditions. I think we can leave this part here.
right, so it is the fire chief's responsibility when there's emergency weather, severe weather. to
See, I'm
turn-
not sure how that became what he does.
Because he does this part, because he does the code red. So he has to be able to, Walter would put out the notifications for code red.
The code red, we didn't used to use code red for weather. That was a new adaptation within the last.
Yeah, but we've used the reverse. He had used reverse 911 before for weather
We
when
had-
traumatic things came through.
Yeah, when they were really traumatic.
Yeah.
But not for,
A
not for
thunderstorm's
your
coming.
regular storm, multiple storms. It would be either hurricane or tornado.
Yeah, that's the ones I remember Walter doing is when there are tornadic thunder showers or severe wind shear, he would do it because the lights could go out. So you'd want to let people know their lights could go out, right?
But I'm just saying this doesn't, I guess it says severe weather. Is that a good enough description?
Yeah, predicted severe weather. Like, we're not gonna get a, 5 o'clock update from the fire chief on the weather for tomorrow.
Sorry, the storm team.
Right.
Yeah, we don't want our fire chief stopping in the middle of a incident to do an update for us.
On the weather.
No.
Now with all the tools that we have to monitor the weather.
Well, that's what
Um,
I have to say, I do get complaints sometimes about this service. And I just
Yeah,
Well,
but
the
people can
last one,
what to do
turn
with
it off if they don't want,
or share them.
if
The
they don't
last
want to
one that
listen,
went
they don't
out-
have to listen.
well, the last one out was interesting because it said, "Hi, this is Becky Torres," and right, it was some guy. It sounded like
It
it
was
might
a
have been.
mechanical voice because I had
Yeah, it was a
technical
robot.
trouble.
And
And
our area was sunny at the time, right?
well, see, that was also part of it was really hard to do that message with the sun beating down on me through my window and no weather in sight. But the police chief had requested it as she ran to the lake area, which was having bad weather.
That's right.
And there was word there might have been a tornado touchdown in Wendell.
And the fact of the matter is, if
you know,
they're
like-
that close, we're responsible. Better to make that mistake than not report something that then takes a sharp right-hand turn and goes
Right.
south and nails us.
Right, so I
and
took a
people-
lot of abuse about being late or whatever because the weather changed course.
Yeah, if
Yeah.
you're gonna make a mistake, you're better off putting on a notification
Yeah.
when, when it's less likely than the other way around.
You could
Yeah, I was
maybe-
riding my bike yesterday. I took a bike ride and I was riding through Wendell State Park and I was coming up the hill towards Diamond Egg Farm from the
Mhm.
Millers Falls direction.
That's
There's
a
a
hard
bridge
hill.
out there.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
there's a
yeah, I
bridge
know
out.
that bridge.
Yeah, I didn't know that bridge either. I've ridden over it a million times. I had no idea it was there, but it's gone. And I'm assuming it was because of the weather. It's a ravine where a brook is running. I don't know if
But-
there is a brook, but it's a little ravine. And I think the bridge is just gone and I didn't see any.
The
I don't
one
know.
right at Miller's?
It's nope. You cross over Miller's Falls. I was coming from the ranger station and you get to the bottom of the hill and then you take a sharp right-hand turn. It actually goes in the fork going back up where the Diamond Egg Farm is.
Yep.
That's Mormon Hollow Road.
And it comes out near the Wendell Library. More or
No,
less.
no.
Not
So
that.
if you go up West Street and you take
Yes.
a left down West Street, you go
Yes.
Ranger Station, then you go down the hill towards Miller's Falls.
Yep.
Just before you get to Miller's Falls, there's a sharp right-hand turn that comes in, a road that comes in on the right that'll take you to
Yeah.
Diamond Egg Farm.
Yes.
You know that road, right?
Yeah.
Everybody knows that road, right?
I don't go up it.
Yeah, well, I
Tend
was doing the loop around the state park, but I took that sharp right and going up that road, there's a bridge. It's just not there anymore.
Wow.
There were two tractors and a giant wave. Maybe it wasn't a bridge. Maybe it was a washout.
Could have been. But
Just the road is closed. You can't drive to Diamond Egg Farm from Miller's Falls from that direction. You can't drive down from the ranger station, take a right and go up to Diamond Egg Farm.
That's good to know.
And I'm thinking it must have been a part of the emergency. I was kind of hoping one of you would know, but I guess
Yeah.
it's not.
no,
Well, I heard a couple of at least 3 or 4 trees were knocked down that day.
Well, and they closed the Irving State Park too.
Yeah,
I heard in the news.
yeah, they got hit,
Well,
But it-
anyways, all right.
but we didn't.
Yeah, all right. I digress. I was just being nosy. I was just wondering what that story was.
Sorry, I don't get all the stories.
Not our town, Becky, right?
But you get all the, whatever you want to call it.
You know what's going on in our town. All right.
Yes. Okay,
Right, so-
911 coordinator, does that,
Could we fill up a minute, just one?
isn't Becky, don't we have like code red now? Can we put code red in here? Instead of reverse
No, because
911?
E911 isn't a system, it's a legal, it's a regulatory thing.
Okay,
It's
that's
a
fine.
federal designation.
Okay, that's fine. The
So
service.
it's, and so we could put, yeah, I would put code red you can put code red, which isn't a reverse 911 system, but
But
it's saying that the
well,
E9.
we can leave it general because maybe we won't always have code red. We could end up with who knows what.
Yeah,
Okay, does this need to be here?
Chris, house numbers, name of street locations are correct.
Yeah.
see, that is not how code red works. So I'm not. I'm
Well,
just.
I think
So I'm confusing
has to-
code red with the E911 system because it's confusing here.
yes. So this is so that Shelburne Falls or Shelburne Control has this information, right?
Make
is
sure
slightly
that
different.
people know what street numbers are.
Yeah,
But when it says maintains the database and reverse 911 system, that's referring to the phone numbers.
and that really is part of the fire chief.
It also has the database of their addresses though too. They're all connected in that. It's a database of phone number and addresses.
See, number 13 and below, I know are confidently. Those relate to the E911. The first ones, the first two are kind of confused with the phone system, the emergency phone system. I guess number 2 is separate from the phone system.
That would be it'd be the one that Shelburne Control uses, I think. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah. This is interesting.
Well, see, because it's the assessor's office where, like, if there's a new accessory apartment or if a new house is
The
built,
fire chief is the one inspecting those and for the fire.
yeah, so they work together to get the new addresses and new houses in both systems.
So is that part of our addendum or should that be in the job description?
I think if the job says, yeah, I think this is the detail of how to be an E911 coordinator.
Yeah,
So this actually, this one general thing works really well for the job description, right?
yeah.
Are you looking at 12?
Yes, 12.
Yeah.
I think this probably should stay in 2 maybe,
Mhm.
and this will have to stay because it's related to outside of Shutesbury. Maybe.
Yeah.
But this one here
See,
and the coordination with the assessor's office work together in any way? Lays information to
yeah,
assessor's
'cause
office?
they're both items are about house numbers.
Right.
But I think, Melissa, I think the all of this is, these are the tasks of the E911 coordinator.
Right. And so should be in the job description.
Yeah. Okay, we can leave them. I was just trying to,
No, I think you know what you were doing. I didn't object to it all.
The goal is
Trying
definitely.
to, it just feels it's too detailed. I think the job description should be responsible for being responsible for fulfilling the position of E911 coordinator.
And then the details put in the addendum.
Yeah,
And that would
Okay.
go, does that go under emergency management director? Is
no,
that- That's just a separate,
It's a specific thing.
okay,
So, I just put coordinates with the assessor's office.
yeah, that's fine.
that's cleaner for sure.
Okay, so
Can
what,
this- can we actually get rid of this one then?
Yeah,
yes. And so it's how did you phrase that, Becky? It's responsible for E91
for assign or for, I'm trying to say he could either assign the task or do the task.
so ensure the responsibility of the E911 coordinator are carried out.
Yes,
And then put the specifics in the addendum.
Okay, so what would you like me to do here?
Well, could we take 10 to 14 and put that in the addendum? And just make the heading,
Oh, here, why don't we do this? Why don't we write that first and then we decide? Okay,
that's a really good idea.
okay, so
that's-
ensure or designates.
Ensures,
well,
well,
he
just
could do-
ensures.
he might do the task himself, because I remember when Paul Blatch was the E911 coordinator, he found that he had to enlist Walter's help to do almost every important step he needed to take. Because somebody had to be qualified and, they weren't just gonna listen to anybody who didn't have a position with the town.
Right.
So how do we want to generalize this? Do we want to say,
Ensures the role of E911 coordinator is fulfilled.
Yes. And then the role is put in the addendum, or the whatever we're calling that. It's a policy handbook. Sort of.
is filled, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then this here,
All of that. Brilliant.
But you want to label that one, the E911.
oh, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. Coordination, there you go. Okay.
Beautiful.
Because he may or may not be the coordinator. He may just be
Right.
coordinating. Okay. Wow.
All right, we're getting there.
There's some real estate there.
All right. I did have this read because I brought it up from the list of these things here, the
Yeah.
skills and abilities. I thought, well, they really should have a driver's license.
Yeah,
It
that's a
said,
good
it
idea.
said, maintains valid Massachusetts driver's license. Like, not maintained, you need to have it.
Yes, right.
That's right.
You're
Don't get
driving
it taken
that fire
away.
truck, You
You
need
should
to
see
have
it. I keep it clean. It looks good. It's expired, but it looks great.
Mine's a little worn out.
Oh, man. So that was,
This is-
that's why that's red. I brought it up from below.
Cool.
All right, so
Forget how it
specialized,
was worded. I laughed at it.
so specialized training in firefighting administration, firefighting preventions and inspection, that seems 5 years experience, that seems okay.
I see no reason to change it.
Minimum of 2 years in supervisory position. Must complete the ICS 400. And
That 200 was what the rest of us did.
I
yeah,
think there's another one, not 700,
There is a higher one. Yep.
but the 700 isn't higher, right?
No,
There's some weird thing where seven,
if you
it's one of
have
them, the number,
four,
but they're lower.
if you have 4, I think it's like a an addition to, do you know what I'm saying? That it's not a full, you know what I mean?
You have both. You don't just go higher. So the ICS 400 is repeated over here, so it doesn't need to be over.
Here.
It's in the red stuff on the left.
Yep, yep, I see it. It's here already. Yep.
Yep.
So here I'll go. Everybody see that?
Yep.
Education requirements. This is all under education and requirements. Wow.
Well, I think this is what, like I said, this is all in red because the majority of it was just added this last time. And I think it's more of a guide or stuff to put in the appendix.
You're talking about the
This-
necessary
this-
knowledge?
This is
Yeah.
this is important here. Yeah, and it has, so I took this one off because I made it small. I put it up with building construction and HVAC systems because
Oh,
they're,
I like that.
Yeah,
Good.
that makes sense.
so I took
Yeah.
that one completely out because I added it. I don't know that I did that with anything else. I think that was the only one.
And again, like having a thorough knowledge of radio communication systems. Lenny doesn't know very much about radios. And then
No.
he said that they, for the most part, they use their cell phones in Shutesbury.
I think,
So
yeah, I think what the radio
Really?
communication yeah.
because they can
Well,
text.
they do, they connect themselves with that, but when they're at an incident, they are on the radio because they
Yeah,
have to
it's not-
over and control is in.
But
But
see-
among themselves, they use cell phones.
But has a thorough knowledge of radio communication systems.
Yeah, knows how to
Knows
use,
How to, because Walter was so into radios, he was on the committee that helped evaluate and buy the new radios for the county. But to use a radio, which is what the firefighters
you press
level,
a button.
yeah, they just need to use it.
So I
Okay.
said, working
I like
knowledge.
what I like that change.
Know how to work it.
Yeah, know which
Turn
one is
it
the on button.
Press the button.
Yeah, which
know
one
when
does volume?
Needs to be replaced.
Well done, Melissa.
Thorough knowledge of law. Da.
See, the next one is really specific.
This one.
Yeah, I think that should go down and I feel like we've said that you need to know fire code. You said that one of the first ones says you have to know the fire code.
Maybe this is where we have a
Specifics about the fire code.
section of that list we're creating for all of these things.
Yeah,
Where it lists them all out.
yes, necessary training.
So shall we put that over here, necessary training?
Yeah. I could clean this up. How many pages do we have on that addendum right now?
It looks like just three. Page
It's
three.
three and then it's just horribly, it's probably less. It's just,
It's okay.
we're dropping it in and it's ugly.
I know it's bothering you.
And we know you're gonna make it look, we know you're gonna make it look
We'll,
nice.
we'll talk that through at a next session.
Yes, I'll have to put that in future business.
You can have a therapy session about that. All right, so I can take this out, right?
Yeah.
Well, this right here, this one sentence actually does what we just took out. And nice and neat and tidy.
Yeah, very,
Yes,
very
yes.
clear.
Very good.
And then this addresses the equipment, nice and neat and tidy.
Those are
Yep.
those were there originally.
Ha. That says something.
Some of these words end with
This
a period
piece.
and some of them don't.
I'm gonna take this piece here and I'm gonna stick it up here.
Yeah,
Because it goes to construction.
and with the HVAC.
Oh, I like that.
systems.
Oops.
Does that mean you can get rid of the bottom one?
Yep,
Well, I
That's why
got
she
rid of
did
at least this much.
Yeah,
Electrical vehicle, let's see, where does that fall? Equipment. Firefighting practices and procedures.
Haven't we covered that?
Well, DC vehicle, it's a special training because they can't fight fire in a Prius like they can in a
Right.
Jeep.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
I'll be careful not to burn my Prius.
Well, it's just different. Like when they show up, they have to handle it differently.
Yeah, they have different
You get the
procedures for
battery.
approaching it.
Yes.
Because if they put water on it, they can get electrocuted because the water is an electric conduit.
So number,
Speak.
Well, no,
I
we
don't-
could put this up here. We could put the DC electrical systems with the knowledge of electrical systems, which is construction, and the vehicle.
I have no problem with it being its own separate thing.
Okay.
The way it was, because it's just dealing with electricity in general.
So maybe we bring photovoltaic down here. Or this is what this is.
Yeah, and AC transmission, that's not necessarily part of house construction, because that could be a
Oh, I know.
power line on the side of the road.
Or it
So I
could be
think we
a
should leave,
solar
probably
farm,
left it the way it was.
solar farm on the Wheelock track.
Yeah, and yeah, I think we should just, electrical systems are their own thing.
So this one here, electric AC transmission distribution. This one is AC household systems. Is that electrical related or is that air conditioning related? Although that's covered here, so we don't need that.
Right.
But that, I think he's referring to electrical.
I think so too.
Yeah, I think it was fine the way it was.
And we can put it back.
Okay.
Give me 1 second and it'll magically appear. Just go through all my steps I took to take it off. There we go, we're back. Okay. Now I'll take my comma, whoops.
Yeah, because electrical is its own thing.
I agree.
Skills and abilities. Is this redundancy?
The skills and abilities, there was one thing I changed. Oh, it's not over here.
Is that all newly added?
It's not over on this side.
What was it, Ms. Melissa?
The whole skills and ability, oh, maybe, did I add that? No, I didn't add that. I would have had it in red. I'm looking for the skills and abilities over here.
Is this redundant?
Yeah, because ability to work, well, he's referring to the public here and to his employees in the next one.
Yep.
I have a question. Well, why don't we do this? Why don't we take that?
But isn't
No.
this
Excuse
assumed?
me 1 second, I'll be right back.
Okay. Must have the ability to get people of different backgrounds, abilities, personalities to work together as a team.
I think you should maybe say employ firefighters instead of people, something to designate that it's,
I think it's not just firefighters. It may be emergency management team working together, volunteers working in any of those situations. You know?
but for the majority, he's talking about firefighters because like if I'm just showing up, I shouldn't be jumping into a life-threatening situation without any training.
I'm more of an emergency thing, not in a life-threatening, more of a hurricane. You know what I'm saying? Like the emergency management team type thing, not the, extracting from a motor vehicle accident.
I'm thinking that the next one seemed to be kind of implied that fire chief should be a good leader. I mean, do you have to spell that out? And be able to react quickly and calmly in an emergency.
This is an ability not everyone has, and I think we might want to leave it in there.
Yeah.
What about the one
Yeah,
above it? Is that somewhere else in the document?
Yeah,
that should just,
You
that
think
shouldn't
so?
be there.
I
that's,
think it's somewhere.
the fire chief should be a good leader.
I think it's even in the first page.
Well, he is the head of a department, so it's inherent.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
He's the leader.
Yeah, in this capacity, the emergency management director takes the lead in coordinating all emergency preparedness activities. But I think there's another place where it talks about him leading.
But it's also implied, I think.
I like the combination, I think, of this one. Here must have the ability to get firefighter backgrounds work together and ability to command a fire scene, including planning attack, directing personnel, and I don't think he means planning attack, plan of attack.
Yeah, this is your leadership right here, the ability to command a fire scene.
Right. That's
Command a
important.
fire scene, and then working this part into that, because I think they go together. In my opinion, they go together.
Yeah, I think they kind of duplicate each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think this is the more important part,
Yes,
right? So let me stick it in front. Let's see what we get here. Oops, we get
and
another
then
bullet.
just drop
Go
that.
back.
He has to work well with people.
He needs to be a people person.
Yes.
That's a talent, not an ability. Let's see, ability to get. This is where people might come into.
Yep, you're right.
Might go better there, of different backgrounds, abilities, and personalities to work together as a team, often in life-threatening situations. But we can adjust that too.
Yeah, that's much better together.
I never liked has the ability.
I think they should all be ability, yes,
Yes.
all of those.
Yeah, you should have
Ability.
the verb there.
I know Melody would be for ability. This is
Yes.
the kind of thing she hit
Well,
us up on
has,
before.
I think has is part of a question, like, do you have the ability,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And we want them to have, we want them to have the ability already. I know we haven't talked about this one yet, but we're just gonna make it strong.
Do we require strong mechanical background?
Do we what?
Require
Oh,
strong
sure.
mechanical background?
Everybody's loving that Lenny has it.
And
Right.
Walter had it. It allows them to be able to maintain it without us paying for all of that repair work or just maintenance, like taking it apart, oiling it, put it back together.
Yeah, no, for me, it's, right, it's more, for me, it's more understanding the mechanical principles, like, knowing to maintain things a certain way on certain schedules, not necessarily being able to do it, but I'm not arguing, this is fine,
Yeah, it's fine.
if this is the way it's been.
Well, yeah, I'm familiar with small engine maintenance practices and maintenance schedules and practices.
Yeah, and it might be someday we get a more administrative chief who wouldn't have those skills, but we're not there yet.
Mm-mm.
That's good. Hopefully good thing we kept the budget flat, because we did for maintenance.
Yep.
I don't know
Okay.
if that makes sense, but I think it kind of adds what George was saying, familiar with maintenance schedules and practices.
Oh,
Yeah,
that sounds good.
Yeah.
understanding what you need to do.
And you know, if Lenny looks, here's the thought, if Lenny looks at this and says, what does that mean? It gives us the opportunity to add it to that appendix.
Yep.
Yep.
You know?
And Lenny is I already gave him the red one
Yeah.
and I gave him an old one just to confuse him. No, because not to confuse him, but just so they were written differently, so it could spur more questions.
Yeah.
Yeah. It
Okay.
feels kind of overwhelming.
Work environment.
Yeah. I didn't see any problem here.
I didn't either.
Yeah, and they use that in the class. We use that in classification too.
Yeah, well, the only thing, yeah, occasionally loud, okay, yeah. Yeah, I'm fine with it. So
my
4
God.
pages.
Yeah, well, 4 pages, although if we trim it up, it might be
Yeah, I'm sure you'll get it. Well, I doubt you're gonna get it.
3.5,
in 3
yeah.
days. I'd be very impressed.
This is
Can we get to-
awesome.
The 3.5?
Yeah, 3.5
Sounds like a
sounding right. I
challenge.
think that's pretty good.
I think we did it.
You did.
You
I'm
guys
gonna
are
say-
fabulous.
Ah, time for dinner.
Yeah. This was
How about
another long
breakfast?
meeting.
Oh,
We're actually becoming
one of
pretty
those days.
professional at this.
Melissa,
getting-
you're amazing.
Yeah, you got it.
We
You know,
should keep.
Yeah.
We still have to do highway superintendents,
right.
but not tonight.
No.
Yeah, we can do that at another time.
Did we start looking at that already?
I thought we finished it.
I think we did look at it.
We looked at it and then there was the question about OSHA. Remember
Right.
whether it was
That was
required?
those
That's right.
action items on the minutes. that
Oh,
get
We're not
added.
gonna, we're not gonna do
So
that.
I
right
gotta
now.
have that ready for, and when's the next meeting?
August 18th,
Is it? No, it's not next week then.
August
we-
18th,
okay.
2 weeks.
Okay.
That would be the third Thursday, our typical schedule.
That's
Yep.
great. You guys are amazing. Thank you.
Oh, no, we never make our meetings. How many times do we change our meetings?
No, we're getting better. It's better.
I'm putting it on here
We're
now.
on a
as-
roll.
And
So-
it's 6:30, right?
Yes.
So before we adjourn, so we updated the fire chief job description, but we haven't approved it yet. We also took a lot of content out of that description and put it in another document.
Yep. What are we calling
So
that?
what is that going to be? Or what are we gonna do with that?
It's like standard operating practices and or, it's the policy. But it's more than policy.
It's, yes,
Because it-
I'll wrate
More
standard
procedures.
operating.
Yeah.
Standard
Yeah, I'd say it's an SOP, not
operating
an SOB.
procedures.
Yeah, I think that's what
I
it
mean,
is.
it could also mean, like, tasks of the fire chief. So we could end up having even 2 documents from this too,
That's what I'm wondering, Emma, where are we going with this? How do I describe this in the minutes?
It almost seems like we're creating somewhat of a training manual for our new fire chief.
So here's what I'm thinking, and I don't know that anyone else would have done this, but when I left the admission office at Amherst College, I left a 300-page binder that had every task I did, how to do it, and anything else they needed to know.
My
I
bad,
doubt
Leslie.
many other people do that, but I kind of feel like this could be that.
Yep. Yep.
I
That's
didn't
what
have
the,
time
when
for it. I just, it just kind of.
you had to live it. You had to leave it behind. So they wouldn't call you every freaking
My
day.
entire 4.5 years in the president's office, I was still getting calls from people because no one knew what they were doing. I left you a 300-page book.
So today we updated the fire chief description and then we started a standard operating practices document for the fire chief position. And we will complete these in future meetings.
That sounds good.
So the one thing I want to bring up
Tighten this up too. Go ahead.
is on the 16th, the select board is hoping to finalize a contract with Lenny Zerwanka. And do you
Should we
guys
have-
feel that the job description alone at this point, not the other pieces, is ready to take to the select board for approval?
I do.
Well, we'd have to approve it. I was hoping to get a chance to read it one more time, but I'm ready to do it now. If we can bring it up and just cruise through it one more time,
Okay. Here, why don't we bring it up just individually?
the final version of it. And
And I'll if we can make the motion upon adjusting the formatting or whatever.
Yeah,
'cause I'll
yeah.
go through and
So
do the
you can
formatting.
have
As long
that.
as it's pretty.
Pretty, yeah.
we'll assume that Melissa will work her magic.
Yeah.
Boy, between George and Melissa, there's so much magic happening on this committee.
Oh,
I know.
Melissa's got me on Word.
Well, you've got us on Excel, but to
Yeah,
have both of you. is
You
amazing.
definitely make Excel dance like a ballet there, George.
Yes.
It's a good tool. It's a great tool to have. So I see an extra space, the
There.
emergency management, double blues.
Well, we'll make it pretty.
So the fire chief shall. So this is really the high level summary of the position.
Oh, I said the fire chief will serve as the, not, anyway,
Where do you see that?
that's the, right there, yeah.
So what's that essential duties wording there?
That was just there.
Yeah, so that has to go then, right?
Yeah, that could take that away. This looks much, much, much better.
Oh, sharp, it looks to the point.
Tell me when you're ready to move it.
Alrighty.
Do you-
I'm sorry, could I just go back? Because there was something different that changed in coordination with the Office of the Town Administrator.
That when we had gone through it the last time, that was what we had talked about.
Oh, wait a minute.
So you made a change to that, and that language it was given to us by KP Law.
Yes, go
And you
back,
changed it.
Here,
because it's not in conjunction,
not
it's
the same.
through,
Not
was it,
same language.
isn't it through the town administrator?
Yeah, it's not in coordination, it's through the Office of the Town
Yes.
Administrator.
we're not in coordination with, okay.
Yeah.
Let me save it, hold on. Okay,
So you would want to get rid of the in ahead of through.
Yeah, after select board. On the next line up.
And I'm still not sure if that's right. I'm gonna have to-
I can go to that other document, Becky, it was in there, hold on. This one. Oh, that's one I'm on. The next one. Here, Becky, it's right here. This is one we were working on.
Where is it? I'm not seeing it.
No, it's not in this one at all.
No,
It was before.
Okay, hang on. I have the other version too. Hold on. My email. Hang on, let me pop it up. Gonna put this on the other screen for 1 second.
It's the same with the highway.
Hang on 1 second. I have the
no,
other.
it does say, it says through the office of the town administrator.
Yeah, it does
That
say.
is right.
But I'll find it while you guys move on. Because I
Okay,
think there's one other thing missing.
no, that's important to have that clear hierarchy.
Yeah, the language
That
here
was,
says, under reports to, it says select board via the Office of the Town Administrator.
Via. Not through.
Right.
okay.
I should put via then.
Yeah, what's the difference? But okay.
I don't know. I'm just trying, because all of them were the same.
Yeah,
But
This is
it
appointed by
does
the
look
select board.
funny.
Report-
I'm sorry.
So
Okay, I was just looking.
is there a comment that the select board reports to the select board via, there shouldn't be a comma there, right?
Oops, I'm sorry. I just popped this one up. Went onto the wrong screen. Becky, here's the one we started with. The one you had sent us all that before the
Yeah.
last meeting. It says through the office of.
Okay, then let's keep it that way.
okay.
Reports to the select board through the,
I don't think you need a comma before through. I could be wrong, but I don't think you do. Of course, the select board
Oh,
through.
well, that's funny. That's how they had it listed in the other one. I had a comma. But you're right. It doesn't need the comma.
Yeah, I just, you don't want to pause there.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Page one looks good.
Okay.
Yep. Actually, that looks good.
Should that first one say, specify that the fire chief is a working chief? Because you're listing all the, all the functions of a firefighter. And often, in other towns, the chief would be
Oh.
more administrative.
So so the fire chief is a working chief and performs firefighting duties.
Yeah.
I wonder if this should be yeah, it's really, he doesn't have to, but there are times when we need him to, right?
No,
Oh,
we always
absolutely.
need them to.
Absolutely. We don't have very many firefighters.
Okay.
He is, so Walter does, at least in the daytime, Walter goes to all the calls. Because he's right there.
Yeah, well, it makes sense because he's always in town.
Yeah,
And
and
before
it's
COVID, he was one of the few that was in town.
We
Yeah.
don't have that many firefighters.
No, and it
Yeah.
saves the town paying the the call wages or stipends for others to
Yep.
be called.
Right. Number 3, plan procedures, assigns personnel and equipment. Plans procedures, what does that mean? Specifically,
Develops procedures.
Yeah, I'd say develops.
yeah, okay.
Is that better?
Yes, that is definitely better.
So many improvements.
Improvements are us.
The magic of multiple heads.
I don't know how we do it. Editing a document by committee is not easy.
No.
You guys are exceptional.
This looks good.
Yes.
I think we've beaten this one pretty hard, huh?
We did. We beat it up really well.
Beat it to death.
I didn't want to use the to death piece, but yes. There's that damn integrity. Okay.
Yeah. We'll get rid of that. Yes. Yes.
So E911 coordinator, basically his job is to make sure that somebody's doing it.
Yep.
Does he
He could.
assign who that person is? Does he assign a firefighter to it, or is the select board responsible for determining who's going to do it?
He's responsible for assigning someone or doing it himself.
Maybe we should put ensures the role of the E911 coordinator duties or position is filled. Duties are done and position are filled.
Yep.
So that way he can
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
ensure the role of the 911 coordinator's duties are
Are done. Perfect.
completed.
Yes. So
Or-
that doesn't,
Position.
Is filled,
So that allows him to do it, or that he delegates.
or make sure there's somebody else who is. Yeah.
great. More flexible.
Fourth bullet under necessarily, we got some hases down there. We got a lot of hases under necessary. I don't care if we want to leave them or not, but we've been doing, we've been doing it the other way.
yes. Yes.
And are some of those duplicated down below? No, we had gone through this. Why am I?
I don't think so, Becky.
I remember the S being deleted.
Yeah, that was one of the, it was down in below we had done.
That was another section. Yeah,
Yeah, it was the abilities and skills and abilities.
right. We
But I
changed
think
all the has ability.
duplicating the HVAC system. Wasn't that down below too?
Well, there was that whole electrical part, Becky, we were talking about, and we decided to leave it.
I
'cause it
remember
was
we
really-
popped it up, we popped it down, we popped it up, popped it down.
Okay,
Right,
so
but we
here's-
wanted to kind of, I thought it was important to maintain that the electrical systems were a thing of their own and required a different set of knowledge
Okay.
than the building.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess it's
Fire-
getting late.
Firefighting is very different with electrical than it is with even this stuff up here.
Yes.
This is where we did the strong Becky right here.
There it is. Okay. I thought I was seeing double.
Well, I'm getting to the point where I'm seeing double.
Mhm.
Do you need me to make it bigger?
No, that's not what I'm talking about.
Oh, that's much better. Oh, there, that's what we're
Oh,
Why
this
doing.
did
is
you do
where
that
Melissa's youth is.
I can see.
Why'd you wait till we got to the end?
Sorry. Well,
No,
look
no,
at
no,
me.
I'm
I'm
joking,
sitting
I'm
here with
joking.
computer glasses on. It's all clear to me.
No, we had the double screen. That's why you had to keep it small.
Yeah.
Right, and you can also change your view options yourself.
Yes, I know. I am aware of this and I do it
Okay.
from time to time.
I thought so.
All right. Yeah, I think I'm ready to vote on this.
So I move that
wait.
we accept,
There, we're at four right now.
Nice, nice.
that we accept, that we approve the updated version of the fire chief job description.
Second. Should
Any
we
more
vote?
discussion? I'll vote.
Okay.
Carbonetta side.
Make peace
Did I-
or meal. Aye.
I have one.
Sorry.
We're not
Melissa,
quick enough.
I'm sorry. It says Shutesbury Fire Chief is considered a strong chief. He's not,
Is a,
I'm sorry.
Yeah. it's a fact.
Okay.
okay, that was, okay.
That was
Stein,
acceptable.
Stein, aye. Done. Stein, aye. All
Make
right.
peace O'Neill. Aye.
Okay, it's a done deal.
Okay.
Set it up.
Becky, I'll spend a few minutes here tightening up the format and then I'll send it to you.
Wonderful. And I will
Wonderful.
look at it in the morning with fresh
Yeah,
eyes.
you're done. You're done. Time for dinner.
George, do you
You
need
guys
this?
are
for the
amazing.
minutes
That
at all?
was really hard.
That was.
I'm sorry, Melissa.
Well, I'll send it to the whole thing so Melody can look at it and
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
But do mention that it was approved. It was
it was
approved.
voted on and approved. I will.
Yeah, so Melody knows, started,
Yep.
you know.
Okay. All
so, all right.
right. Good job, everybody.
Okay. Have a nice evening.
You too.
We'll see you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.